So today we are discussing some of the things that we learned in the world of sports while we were out on some vacation, went and took some time down in Mexico, got a little bit tanner while we were down there, if you can see me on the YouTube video. But we are talking some NBA playoffs, and we just discussed the Eastern Conference. And before we get to the Western side, you might be wondering, what in the world happened to my Denver Nuggets in their quest to defend their NBA championship? The Nuggets were involved in a wild series with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the conference semifinals. The Wolves came to Denver and won games 1 and 2. Well, this might be a sweep at this rate. But then the Nuggets rallied. They returned the favor. They won 3 games in a row. Hey, they take the series lead back. They might still get this. Minnesota scorched the Nuggets in Game 6, which, by the way, I think might have been the beginning of the end. And then it all came down to Game 7 in Denver. Well, the Nuggets took a 20-point lead at one point in the third quarter. And then they managed to lose that deciding game at home by double digits, getting outscored something like 60-32 in the last quarter and a half. So what in the world happened to my Denver Nuggets? Well, we learned a few things about that team in this postseason. We learned that they don't have enough depth just yet. Their bench is still very, very young and very inexperienced. And at times, they are talented and okay. And at times, they kind of fall asleep and don't do a whole lot. We learned that some key players did not step up. And I'm not talking about Nikola Jokic. I am looking right at you, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and at times even Jamal Murray, although Jamal does usually show up in crunch time. But AG and Michael Porter, you kind of went MIA on us. But the one thing I really learned about the Denver Nuggets in that series was that they're soft. And that, to me, is the worst thing you can ever say about a team. You're soft. You're not tough enough. Hey, when the outside shots were falling, the Nuggets were absolutely dominant. But remember one thing, getting outside shots is easy. You can always get outside shots. I mean, I can't even play anymore. I could go in the NBA and get an outside shot off. That isn't hard. Making them can be tough. And getting point paints demands physicality. Well, because you have to post up. You have to battle. You have to be strong inside. And when those outside shots are not falling, it can also lead to transition points for your opponents. And that is exactly what happened. The Nuggets' transition defense was soft. They didn't have enough rim protectors. They couldn't pressure the perimeter game and the three-point shooters and also get to the paint and defend the rim. And they settled for easy jump shots instead of battling and being tougher. They couldn't get clutch rebounds when they had to have them in that deciding game. Look, I don't know that the Nuggets need to rebuild or anything, but they've got to get more depth. They've got to get tougher. And that, to me, is the biggest thing that cost the 2024 Denver Nuggets. They were soft. I didn't think that would be the case. I thought that would be a little bit tougher. They were last year. This year, they definitely missed some people stepping up. Okay, YouTube, make sure you go over and you check out the rest of the podcast because, like I said this week on The Dose, we are talking about some things that we learned over the past week or so. We discussed the NBA playoffs. We discussed what's going on in the WNBA, some strange things going on over there, the Stanley Cup playoffs, some collegiate sports, even some NFL news. There's a big controversy that has been in the works for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we also have a Daly Dose Top 5 for this week where we look at which cities in America have been waiting the longest for a championship parade. There are a few on there. They've never had one. So be sure you go over and you check out the rest of the podcast. I will leave a link here in the comments on YouTube for you. Hope you all are doing well. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week.